G'day, Mike from the Fulcrum here. Just out for my daily cardio brain health session, riding around down here by the water. Found a lovely new little spot that normally wouldn't be available, but we've had unseasonably warm weather here with not a lot of rain. So the water levels have dropped to a point. There's some spots that you normally can't get into. For right now, I'm under the shade of a giant old willow tree that right where I'm sitting right now would normally be under about 2 feet of water. Thought it was a great place to come down and do my qigong exercises. So I'm just enjoying the shade here. It's unseasonably warm. It's about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Might even get a little bit warmer today, which is unusual for Ontario, Canada, this time of the year. We haven't even had anything close to a frost yet, so my tomatoes are still going great time. So when I get home, I'll be stripping some cherry tomatoes off the vine and what's left of the green peppers and throwing them in the frying pan with some scrambled eggs and maybe sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on, and that'll be lunch. You know, I've had a lot of people ask me why I even bother doing these little videos, and seem to think, well, you know, Mike, you're not making any money. It's a lot of work. You got to learn all these new skills and editing, and you have to buy equipment and cameras and all the rest of it. And I think it's because of my past work history. Years ago I worked in rehab, drug and alcohol related, and did it for 8 years front line and worked with a lot of people. And I bumped into someone a while ago I hadn't seen in close to 20 years. I was standing in line at Tim Hortons, coffee donut chain here in Canada. I believe there's some in the States. And I hear this gravelly voice behind me say, "Geez, you got the point to let anybody in this damn place." I turn around and look, and there was this incorrigible guy that I'd worked with in rehab. He'd been in prison 14 years, never even been out on a weekend pass. He was coming up for parole. And it had been my duty to overlook his first few days out in public. So much had changed for him in that time that, you know, the prices, inflation, everything else, it was just overwhelming for him. But he was a great guy, straight shooter. He was old school. You know, it was just a matter of him taking personal vengeance in a matter of marital infidelity that got him into trouble. But he did his time, never complained, never got in any trouble. But this guy, he introduces me to this lady who's with him. And he says, "I'd like you to meet the man that saved my life." Now, I'm not saying this to brag, but it really took me back. I mean, I worked with a lot of people. And when you work in rehab, according to most of the studies I've seen and read, you've got about a 5% long-term success rate, which means, you know, 95% of the people you try and help, it doesn't take. So those are very discouraging figures. For that reason, a lot of people eventually burn out working in rehab of any kind. But he was very happy, shook my hand, and she smiled, and he actually bought me coffee and a donut. But that always stuck in the back of my mind, and it has till now. It's like, I think, well, you know, I'm no longer working in that field, and I haven't in years, but the skills that I developed during that time, being able to get across simple points to make changes in people's lives, shouldn't be retired. Should be taken forward and pass it on. I know even my own personal situations where, you know, of course, people that come through loss of a spouse through bereavement or divorce, it can be a terribly unsettling thing. You feel like you're alone. There's no one there. 3 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep. Well, at least with YouTube now, you can click on there and, you know, for a few minutes, maybe even a half an hour, you feel like there's somebody out there that actually gives a shit, that actually cares, that is willing to put out there things that have worked for them. They say they may not work for you, but hey, give it a shot. Try it out. If it doesn't work, well, you're not really out anything. But at least you tried. Maybe got you going, got your heart pumping, made you feel a little bit better, made you more enthusiastic about actually trying something else. That's important. So that's why I continue to do this. This channel will probably never make any money. I realize that. And, you know, I really don't care. I'll keep putting out what's made a big change in my life and what I know works based on my experience working in rehab, and pass it on. So, in closing, as usual, breathe deep, think clearly, enjoy each day. We'll talk to you later.